practitioners. Oftentimes we're interviewing practitioners on how they operate within their practice, how they position and introduce any of the OlyLife products. And more recently, we've been on a trend where we're all learning more about some of the other products that OlyLife has so that we have a foundation on how to position and use and speak to our friends and family, but also practitioners on the different technologies that we have to offer. And so I'll give an example and then I'll introduce our guest for today. So oftentimes, if we're engaging a practitioner and we want to go out and speak about the P90 plus, for example, we do some research ahead of time and we go on their website. And if I see they're already using PEMF technology, I get pretty excited because that means they have an understanding of the technology and maybe the science behind it. And that helps make that introductory part of the conversation a little bit easier. But then you have the opportunity to have them try it, talk about business models on how patients can use it at home. Well, over the last few weeks, we've also been hearing and learning about all the different benefits of the air ionizer. And Dr. Maria did something on nutrition and hydration that turned into some exciting discussion about the upcoming water systems that are coming out. Well, this past Friday, during our testimonial call, uh, John Scevola, who's with us today, he's going to share a little bit more background, but he was talking about the Vitality Wand. And there's a number of ways we can leverage and benefit from today's call. John's going to review the agenda for today or what he's going to cover. But what I like to think about it is back to when I do some research ahead of time and I see there's a technology already in that office or practice, to me, that indicates a couple of things, right? They think differently, they understand frequency, and it allows for progressive conversation. Well, there's other technologies that maybe they don't say PEMF, but they might have other frequency-based technologies similar to the Vitality Wand that may help us get a foot in the door or to spark a conversation. And so what John is going to share with us today is his vast background and knowledge on some of the technology that's in, well, all the technology is in the Vitality Wand, but bring his past experience to the table so that we can all leverage for ourselves to have a better understanding about the product. But then how do we leverage that understanding into conversations that we're having with others, including practitioners? So, John, if you can unmute yourself, or if maybe you need my help to unmute, we'll allow you, if you would, please share a little bit about your background and we'll get right into the call. Okay?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm John Scevola. My wife, Dr. Misty, and I live in Oregon, Portland, Oregon area. And welcome to the Harry Potter, How to Use Your Magical Wand class. Okay, we're going to learn about this magic wand and how to use it in your life. And I refer to it as a magic wand. And the other night on a call, I quoted the great science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke, and he wrote that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And so many of the results that we're experiencing, putting our feet on the P90 Plus with the Shaken, with the Galaxy One goggles, with the Obama Ion, and experiences people have with these wands seem magical. Often we don't know how it happened, but it's magic, right? And so many of us brilliantly know not necessarily to show person how the magic trick worked. They can just go, put your feet on this P90 Plus and experience the magic, right? Come here for a second. Let me shine this wand on your shoulder for a minute and feel the magic. And but the magical experiences that we're having have real science to it. But they're so advanced. These are cutting edge tools. This device, I call this the Swiss Army knife of frequency devices. Okay, because this thing does a lot of different things. And most of the things, most people maybe on this call or in general in OlyLife don't know that this can do that. And I do because not because I'm a smart guy. I am a smart aleck, but I've been dealing with wands for probably 4.5 years now. That's specializing in them. Um, Doug, you're forcing me to go back to my bio, I guess, to tell a little bit about who I am.
Just a little bit to give everyone the foundation
Okay.
and respect
Well,
for
my,
where you're
my
coming from.
wife's a homeopathic doctor. She and I have been in the energy wellness, consciousness, frequency, quantum space for almost 40 years. About 5 years ago, I trained 5,000 practitioners in how to use their advanced programming and with their frequency devices. And I was involved for the last 4 years with another company, primarily with frequency wands, primarily terahertz wands. And they had me on two different convention stages talking about best practices. And my wife and I did 3 Zooms a week for years talking about best practices. And about back in December, I had an epiphany. I had a shocking experience. I discovered that OlyLife was not a knockoff company, but they were a knock it out of the park company. And I realized, oh no, I'm going to have a lot of crow on my face because for years I've been telling everybody that they're a knockoff company. And I realized they have the number one technologies in the world. And so all my wands from other companies are now gathering dust in a box because they're all obsolete. This thinker, this is the number one wand in the world for any price. No one has anything like it. It is the number one, first in the world, dual frequency PEMF and terahertz. And we talk a lot about PEMF, and we should because it's so cutting edge. I'm just going to mention a few things about terahertz, which I don't think a lot of people realize. And you're going to even realize how even more brilliant the synergy of PEMF and terahertz is. And so I'm referring to, I got 4 pages of notes. I'm going to go through some pretty quickly. I started writing down notes and I realized, wow, there's a lot of stuff I need to shove into this hour to talk about. Fun
We
stuff,
talked about
stuff
how, if
you,
we have to have a couple calls, that's okay too.
yeah, well, when we talked, Doug, this morning, I talked about this is uh, Vitality Wand 101. Okay.
There we go.
This is the first part of really a threefer. The second call, which is really a whole nother hour, has to do with how the body works with traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, meridians, chakras, energy things, and so forth, and how this can work with that. Okay. And very, very important call. Um, we don't have time because I have so many things I need to talk about today, tips and how to energize water, how to use it as a hair dryer on your pets and all that kind of stuff, right? But the TCM part is very important. And AI, ChatGPT in particular, gets this wrong. They talk about here's all this bioenergetic stuff, energies flowing up through energizing our cells and traveling up through our system, and we're electrical beings and so forth. But we're more than just an electrical being. Our body is an electrical creation, okay? But we are more than that. The body is like a car. The body is a vehicle we use, but we are not an electrical being. We are an energy being. And that's where the energy stuff, which runs simultaneously as electrical stuff, is going on. And why that second call is important, because if your energy systems, the meridians and so forth, there's some little blockage in there, can happen from stress, all kinds of things. It's like a garden hose. If you have a kink in your garden hose, you're not getting a full flow out of your garden hose, right? And that's why acupuncturists put little needles in you or use acupressure to try to free up these energy systems, not your electrical, but these energy systems in your body. They run simultaneously as your electrical. And this device is fantastic as a stimulator activator, okay, of acupuncture points and so forth, as well as other things, which we will talk about a little later on about how to activate your vagus nerve, stem cells, all kinds of stuff. But that's all physical stuff. But there's a whole nother level of the energy part of our body. And then there's actually a third part, because we're actually not just that. We are energy. We are energy, our consciousness, our intention, our thoughts. All of that affects our energy. All of that affects our physical body. And we may or may not get down the road after this call, and maybe people won't hear from me anymore. But the that's out there if you want to talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about just terahertz for a moment. Um, we all are referring, and I'm talking about all, everybody in OlyLife is referring to terahertz, and we actually what we're referring to when we talk about that frequency, it's really called the terahertz gap, GAP. Okay, because terahertz is in the frequency electromagnetic band between microwaves and infrared, but it stretches out. Terahertz goes all the way in and mingles with with uh, microwaves, and on the other side, it mingles somewhat infrared. Okay, so when you say terahertz, it's hard to say where you're in that gap. We what works for us and creates the magic is what they call the terahertz gap. And so you can ask ChatGPT about that and explore it on and whatever, but you're going to find that that's what the scientists refer to when they talk about the really amazing things that are happening with terahertz. It's a terahertz gap. Okay. And
Beautiful.
so if you end up talking about terahertz, you want to really step up and recognize that's really what you should be referring to. Um, and years and years and years ago, interestingly enough, with NASA, right, they were really fascinated with terahertz and they're really fascinated with PMF. So it's an interesting connection there. But they were really interested in terahertz because they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know how to apply it. They did realize why it's interesting because they discovered that when it passes through a human body, it's non-ionizing and it's safe. It doesn't hurt the body. And it won't go through metal. And it really stops when it hits water and so forth. Okay. So today in technology, you're seeing terahertz used in airport screening, all kinds of industries, dental industries using terahertz. And that's coming out more and more. Okay. What none of them talked about though is when that terahertz goes through your body, it empowers the body to self-heal. Funny how they didn't bring that up, right? I don't know why, but that's there. And about 5 years ago, this other company invented the idea of a wand, actually this one, okay, almost $5,000. Um, and they were able to capture terahertz in a handheld device, okay? And just so you know, this one again blows away all wands in the world. For the price, it's insane. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about why that is. But none of those other wands have PEMF and the synergy of that. And but so OlyLife invented this first in the world dual frequency PEMF and terahertz blended together, being able to target areas in the body. So that's what most people think that's all it's about. But there's lots of things that this can do. Now, this is a Swiss Army knife of medical device, not medical, but frequency devices. And we'll talk about a little bit about what that is. So terahertz is really good at three things, right? In relation to what we're talking about here. It's really good at bringing light into the body. Okay. Did you know that terahertz comes from sunshine? Okay. Sunlight. How many of us are out in the sunshine every day, basking in that sun? We all know how or many of us are learning how important is grounding. Okay. Few of us, because of the way life is today, get out and walk in the grass, right? I mean, I have grass in my front lawn and backyard. I'm lucky if I get out 10 minutes a week in that grass. I know I should be out there hugging a tree, walking the grass, but my life is busy. And we've discovered the P90, you put your feet on a P90 plus, that's the equivalent of walking through the grass 5 or 6 hours. I can do that. I can sit at my desk on a call like right now, working, talk to people around the world about OlyLife, whatever. and have my feet on P90 Plus and getting my grass walking. But I haven't moved my whole office outside in the sunshine yet. Okay. And we don't get, even though we do get some sunshine and there's terahertz in there, most of it is very diffused because when it's coming down from the sun, it gets diffused by water. Okay, so what the terahertz and the energy that the body really loves doesn't get. But now we have a portable sunshine maker. Okay. Now, what's really amazing about that is when you shine that sunshine light through your body, it's like shining sunshine on a plant or a flower. Your cells, they start resonating with that vibration and they're going, oh, baby, this feels good. Right. And they start vibrating, having a happy time. And there are things in our body that don't want to live in the light. They want to live in darkness and they don't want the heat and the light. Okay. We don't want those things in our body. Shine it on. Okay. Shine that sunshine, shine that terahertz into your body. And that's why you start detoxing and things are, hey, I'm out of here. This is too light. Okay. You're bringing light into your body, sunshine. And that vibration that starts happening, that party, okay, that creates heat. And that's an internal heat. That is very, very therapeutic, that internal heat. And it's also several of the reasons why we recommend that you drink warm water before and after using all of the OlyLife products, but especially this product and the P90. You want to drink water before and after for hydration because that internal heat is using up water in your body and you're releasing stuff and you want to get that eliminated. But it's also the water picks up the frequency information that you're shining in there and carries it all through your body. Did you know that your blood flows through your body to every cell in your body about once a minute? Okay. So you literally, if you were just shining this on your hand for a minute, you've just energized your whole body. Okay. And I've done tests. My friend Ricky Brandina did the same thing. We have equipment that we got from India that can test this quantum scalar energy aura type stuff, right? And I took my wife and I stood her there and I tested her, and her aura was at about 3 or 4 feet from her body. Most probably farther than most people realize, but your energy aura is extending out from your body. And I had her drink a glass of energized water, and then we did a separate test where I just wandered her for about a minute. Okay. Just like that, her aura extended out to 15 feet. This is why it's important that you use this will happen with the P90 Plus. This will happen when you use the shake-in. This will happen when you use these wands. You are lighting up your body. You're lighting up your life, okay? And there are scientists that have called terahertz light of life, wave of life, and they've called it the God's wave band. This is not a throw-in. This is not, oh yeah, we have terahertz. This is a magnificent frequency that OlyLife has combined with PEMF. And the synergy of the two of them is even more powerful than just either or, okay? So the second thing that terahertz and PEMF are really good at is they're giving your body what I call frequency nutrition, okay? And your body knows what to do with that. Your body is starving for frequency nutrition, for voltage, for energy, we call it. Whatever. I'm referring to it as frequency nutrition. And you, even if you just don't know what you're doing, and you're just wanding yourself, or you're sitting on P90 Plus or whatever, you're feeding your body frequency nutrition. Now, there's lots of practitioners that talk about with these devices that it doesn't matter how you point it and circle it and do whatever. You just you want to get those frequencies into your body. And I agree with that to a certain point. But if you go into a gym, okay, you can start lifting the weights and doing all kinds of fun stuff in there. And then eventually a coach is going to walk over to you and say, what do you want to accomplish? And you're going to go, oh, I want some abs and I want some biceps, you know. And the guy goes, all right, well, I have to give you some nutritional ideas. And then here's the things you need to work on every day. Okay. You need to do 5 reps over here and whatever. There are ways of using this that take it to a whole nother level in terms of your physical strength and energetically. Okay. That's really the second class where we talk about so forth. Just as a simple thing in TCM, traditional medicine, clockwise motion energizes and counterclockwise unblocks. Okay. So there are some techniques for that, which again, that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about. You can't hurt yourself. If you're doing it wrong, oh, is this clockwise? Don't worry about it. Get those frequencies into your body. Okay. The body will use them. There's way more efficient, profound ways of doing this stuff that we could talk about in another class. The third thing that this is really good at, okay, is stimulating and activating. The terahertz and the PMF are really good at that. So when you have your feet on the P90 Plus, mostly we all talk about, oh, it's my ankles are warm, I feel it flowing up. Oh, look, it's lighting up the light over here, you know. And we talk about PMF, okay? Our feet, there's like 7,000 nerve endings in the bottom of our feet. And all fantastic acupuncture points are there. And you are stimulating all those, and all those are connected to organs in your body, okay? And so you might think, oh, this thing's not working. Oh, it's working because you're stimulating all, and it's going through all your bodies. It may be prioritizing helping, supporting things in your body. You might be, oh, I want my frozen shoulder. I want this done, fixed next week, you know. But it's helping your body to get balanced, to flow and whatever. Not just your blood system, but your whole energy. And that's you're stimulating all those acupuncture points in your feet. And in a little while, I'm going to share a chart that you can have that'll show you a 10-point way to use the Vitality Wand all around your body to stimulate your whole body. It takes about 15, 20 minutes with this wand, because this is so powerful, okay? Any other wand, it would take you twice that, whatever. I didn't really go into a lot with this wand, but I'm just saying this is the wand. This is a Ferrari. This wand should really sell for $4,000 or $5,000, okay? It has a Dyson brushless motor inside, which is fantastic. All the other wands don't have, they have the old-fashioned, unreliable type of motors, except for the new version of this, which is almost $5,000 now, but it's not made by Dyson. And they say you got to have a brushless motor, which I'm saying, yeah. So what you're saying is all your other devices are not reliable. Well, we have that. And the reality is this doesn't cost $600 because this includes the Oly stand, okay, patented. This thing is worth $250 by itself. This is the best stand on the market, oscillating stand. This is a must-have if you have any kind of wand because it makes it hands-free. Sitting at your computer, doing stuff, doing up and down your back, whatever. It's very difficult to get my wife to wand my back. Maybe once or twice in 4 years she's done it for me. So I bought 2 stands for $500 and none of them worked. I used them once and then they fall over, they would break. They're too hot. When I saw this, I said, this is what I've been dreaming about for 4 years, this stand, okay? But if you understand, we could make a business just selling these stands to people who have wands, right? But you can't buy them. You have, it includes free with the Vitality one. And so that really makes this thing worth still $4,000 or $5,000, but it's only costing you what, $350, $400, okay? And that's ridiculous for what it is and what it does, how powerful it is, the brushless motor, the quietness of it, how light it is, how easy to use. One of the features that's talked about in our OlyLife literature is that it has air massage, all right? I bet you 95% of people on OlyLife don't know what that means. They think, air massage, what is that? This puts out the most powerful airflow and directed of any wand. And I have all the wands. I have like 5 or 6 of the red wands. I have 2 purples. I have all the wands. None of them, they all kind of come out the air. This is a very directed air. When it hits your face, it feels so different. And it's pressing, and it's the equivalent in a way of acupressure, okay? And it's real. I experienced this the other day, and I hadn't really realized what it was, but I was just sitting in my chair, relaxing, wanding myself. I said, wow, this feels so good. And it wasn't with the heat, it was just cool air. And it was a pressure. And all of a sudden I realized in 4 years, I'd never experienced that kind of pressure in therapy. And it felt like, in a shower, we have handheld like shower heads, and you can direct that to you. That's what this feels like. And it's doing therapy with that acupressure on your body. The heat is to your comfort level, but the heat has tremendous therapeutic value. Um, you need to research what that can do for you. But this has a totally cool setting, which is totally cool because if you had any other kind of one that didn't have it, you would always be wishing, I wish they had a cool setting, right? And it's still, the cool setting puts out the same amount of terahertz and so forth. Now, in the literature, it's interesting. It says, in OlyLife literature, it says that the terahertz, not the PEMF, the terahertz only goes into your body about 2 or 3 inches, okay? And there are people out there that say, oh, no, it goes 812. Well, yeah, show me your science on that, okay? And you go to any of the scientific reports about all this stuff, when it hits water, boom, it's like stopping, right? But that's enough to stimulate your body, the acupuncture points, everything, and restructure your blood flowing through your body and carrying through your body, all of that. All that's good. PMF will go 8 to 10 inches through, okay? Now, what's interesting, though, in the literature is it said that the PMF can penetrate a human body 20 to 30 inches. And then they go on to say, keep the wand 20 or so inches away from your body. And I'm thinking, okay, that's a paradox right there. So you're saying keep it here, but it can only penetrate. So how do I get the PMF my body if I'm supposed to hold it out here, right? So here's I'm going to pull the curtain aside, and you understand. It's saying 20 to 30 inches through your body, okay? It's when it hits your body, that's when it can start going through your body. So if you could hold it here, and the PMF is going to flow here, hit, and then it starts slowing down, okay? So you want to hold this to your comfort level. Now, ideally, this will go through clothes. You can wind yourself through clothes because PMF and terahertz will go through clothing, rubber, wood, everything. Ideally, you would have this on bare skin, but you could do it through your clothes. And you can even wind your spine through your body from your front, okay? Now that we have the Oly stand, we don't need to do that. We can set it up and have it winding our back, okay? But I'm telling you, if you don't have the Oly stand, most people are wishing they could do their back and they never do it because it's just too hard to figure out how to do it. But it's really important to do your spine. All right. I don't have time to go into all the fun stuff of what's going on with your spine and what you're stimulating, activating, whatever. But just trust me, look on the chart. And when it says go up, down your spine, you want to spend a couple of minutes doing that.
Hey, John, quick
Yep.
question when you're talking about the settings. So we know that when you power up the Vitality Wand, or for those who have it, it's a long hold and it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So
Right.
0 is no heat, but just to confirm, the energy is still coming out. So then the 1,
Yes,
2, and 3 are the heat settings, but the energy coming out, if combination of frequencies
it is. And you could
is
confirm that using your little tube. Okay.
yeah,
Half people that get they don't know what this is. All right. And this is just a verification. If you hold it near, you turn your wand on, you hold it near the front, and the magnet's going to start jumping around, proving that there's magnetic frequency fields coming out of it. Okay, they're interacting with that, not the terahertz, but the PMF.
right.
That's what
Yeah,
this. And if you turn on cool setting, you'll see that the magnet will jump around, whether it's heat or not. And the heat is really just a whole nother separate therapeutic function of the device.
yeah.
Okay, and use that to your comfort level.
Thank you.
Make sure I cover my notes on this real quick. Okay, so now let me get a couple of tips before we go into the really fun stuff about energizing your water and all that. Couple tips. This puts out blue light, right? That is strictly so you know where you're pointing your device and what you're focused on, right? It does not have therapeutic value to it. And I caution you do not want to stare into it because it could hurt your eyes. Blue light. Okay. Now, if you're obliquely or you're shining. It's not, but you don't want to be going, hey, well, that's an interesting blue line, right? Because that could hurt your eyes. I say that everybody could laugh, but I'm telling you, I know people. I had 12,000 people in my downline. I know there many of them go, how come I only see three things in there in the blue light? I'm like, no, you shouldn't be doing that, right? And drink 1 or 2 glasses of water. I don't always do that, and I realize I need to do that to get the full benefit out of what I'm doing. Now, why the warmth? Okay, again, most people don't pay attention to this, but you're creating that internal heat, and it's very therapeutic. You can read up about what's going on with that. You want to keep that going as long as possible. So if you've been doing a therapy 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever, with your wand or your feet on the P90 plus, you don't want to jump out and go in the swimming pool, take a shower, get under air conditioning, drink your Coca-Cola. You don't want to do any of that. You want to keep that warmth going as long as possible because it's empowering your body to self-heal. And that's a whole process going on there. Okay. Um, and the water, preferably that you drink, should be energized with a vitality one. And I'll talk about that in a moment, why that is. And preferably would have electrolytes added to it because the electrolytes really amplify your results with all the OlyLife devices, okay? Because they really assist in carrying the frequencies through the whole body. Electrolytes, real easy to go on Amazon. You can buy something, really pop in your water, and you just now increased pretty dramatically your results with all of these devices. Stay warm. Okay, so I've been bringing up this water thing. This device, if you take a glass of water, and this whole topic right now, this huge with the other company I was with, because that's all they did really was wands and terahertz. This is even bigger with PMF and terahertz now, okay? But if you take a glass of water, and it could be a bigger one, I just grabbed this one, let's say, I don't know, 8-ounce glass of water. And as good water as you can get, okay? You can work on tap water, but preferably, it's good water. Preferably even with minerals, but that's all a whole other discussion about good water. And I know that other practitioners are talking about the water and stuff. You don't have to wand the water from the top. A lot of people think that's what they had to do, and you don't. It'll go through the glass, no problem. PMF and terahertz, okay? And you don't need to spend minutes and hours doing this, right? 1 to 2 minutes, even by 1 minute, I've verified that it'll charge that glass of water. Just have it sit there on the counter, boom, for 30 seconds to a minute. I have one of these built in my kitchen, right? All the water we drink in our house is energized from a wand, okay? And you just charge. Now it will taste different. This is part of the test if you would think it was working. When I first got involved with these terahertz wands about 4.5 years ago, I started wanding the water, and I started drinking. I'm thinking, this tastes different. This is like smooth, and I seemed like I couldn't get enough of it. It's restructuring the atoms into a linear fashion. Your body, your cells can absorb it way faster. Super hydrating to restructure the water. OlyLife has a device. It's not available in the US right now. That's a jug, a thing where it'll restructure the water. Okay, but this will do the same thing. And just do that. You can do it from the top if you want, but just set there right, easily restructure your water, and it energizes it. And that's a whole nother discussion, but water will hold vibrational information. There's been lots of studies about how it can respond to your thoughts, even things that are going on environmentally, vibrationally, whatever. And like I said, that could be a whole nother course talk about that. But it will hold vibrational information. So when you're energizing it, it will hold vibrational information of the terahertz and the PMF. And when you drink that, boom, it goes to your body so fast. It pushed my wife's aura out triple to what it was just by drinking a glass of water. Okay. Now here's the magical thing. Okay. If you don't believe in magic, go to the bathroom right now, or go water your plants or something, right? Uh, I took a glass of water, and my friend Ricky Berdino, he did this remotely, a couple thousand miles away. We both tested this out. Charged a glass of water, and first I did a bathtub. I filled the bathtub up, right, with water. Tested it with my equipment, no energy, just regular water. Charged a glass of water, about a minute, boom, energy's coming out of it, right? I poured that glass of water into the bathtub. Boom, the whole bathtub of water was energized. And here I did it separately from Ricky. We both videotaped it. We're going, oh my God. Uh, who wants to bathe in a bathtub? I know Doug, he uses all kinds of perfumes and stuff in his bathtub, but who wouldn't want to bathe in a bathtub with energy? Because your skin is absorbing all that energy. This is like super, super, super hydrating. Okay. It's great. I see a lot of hearts, a lot of bath people. I don't take baths, but I'm just saying this is theoretical for me.
If you
My wife takes
did.
baths all the time, but it's like, but it seems like it would be a cool thing to do, right?
And
Now,
John, there was a question, if you do a glass of water, do you, in your past experience, thoughts on how long it maintains that charge, if you will?
at least 24 hours.
Okay.
My experience is it goes longer than that, but I just say as a
Yep.
rule of thumb,
Yep.
just 10 to 10,
Routine.
24 hours. Yeah,
Charge your water for the day and go about. Yep.
yeah, yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. You can charge soup, you can charge juice.
Wine.
Who would want to give energized water to their pets? If you don't, we have to have a separate talk here. And they love it. And cut flowers will stay longer in energized water. Plants love it. Okay, energized water. Um, Cooking, soaking your food in it. Now, this seems even crazier, but you can energize vital food. I tested it. Fruits and vegetables, you energize them, increases their energy. You see, I know there's going to be a run on these after this call, and they should be. I hope OlyLife is prepared for this call, right? It doesn't. All right, let me just say this. This does not replace the P90 Plus, right? 6 months ago, I thought it would. 6 months ago, I came in to this company. I thought I'm the one guy. Everybody's going to want the one. I've converted. Okay, the P90 Plus is the flagship. It's extraordinary what it does. But this, everybody needs this. Now, in my next section, I'm going to talk just a little bit about protocols. And my testimonies, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testimonies, and I've seen thousands and thousands of testimonies with just these things. And that's just with the terahertz. The PMF takes it to a whole nother level, what it does in terms of affecting things. Okay. Sunburn. I had sunburn. Even better with the cool setting. You put that on it, like 5 minutes, sunburn was gone. Insect bites, stuff like that. All right. So we'll talk about that in a moment. I have lots and lots and lots of people. They don't use the wand on themselves. They don't do anything other than drink the energized water. And they have fantastic health results. It's that powerful. Okay. Just saying. Check it out. All right. It tastes different. You won't be able to get enough. You're going to go, your body's going to be going, I need more of that because your cells are going, this is what I've been talking about. Where has this water been all my life? When the new water machine comes out, I think we're going to have to still get the fantastic water, whatever, and wand it because it's unless it has some type of PMF energy to it. I don't know yet. But this, I'm just saying, this is a phenomenal use of these wands with everything else. Okay. Now, so how do you use this wand on yourself? Pets love these things. Not all pets. Some pets are a little scared of the noise. This is much quieter than all the other wands I've ever used. But if they're not scared of it, they come running. As soon as they hear this go on, they want some of it. They feel it. They love it. And I'm talking pets. I'm talking about not just dogs and cats. I've seen this used on birds. I have a distributor uses on her horses. She's a horse therapy person. She's wanting her horses, and they love it. And she has all kinds of testimonials on that. Do you think there's any business there? Uh, the I've even seen people use it on their tropical fish. I've seen a tropical fish that was upside down, almost ready to die, and they just wanted the water for a bit, right? And the fish turned up and it was totally healthy. Magic, scientific magic. A couple of days ago, I had excruciating pain in my shoulder. Nine. I couldn't lift my arm whenever. And I couldn't even, I was thinking, what am I going to do? And I'm thinking, what is your problem? Go get your wand. Set it up in the stand, put that thing going. I was on my computer. 15 minutes later, pain was gone. I'm thinking, magic. It's good stuff. Um, I have some testimonials I can't even bring up because you wouldn't believe me if I told you on these calls, right? It would be like, there's no way you're making that up. But we've seen it. We've seen it. But we've seen it with people getting on the P90 plus, putting their feet on that. And by the way, I am totally in line with the brilliant strategy of OlyLife and Oly Nation of getting somebody's interest, having them try something out and watch a video, and they sign up. And I'm not saying to lead with this, but there may be some people that they want to talk about this type of a technology, okay? And you go, all right, come here, sit down. Let me try this here. And the people are going to go, whoa, that feels good, right? Now, the thing to know about this is you can get involved with OlyLife with just a wand, $600 purchase, okay? Doesn't have to be $1,000. That's the minimum. The minimum is really this, is $500, $600 a minimum. But the whole comp plan won't be open up to you, only about 10 levels. And until you cumulatively purchase up to $1,000 or more, then the whole comp plan will open up to you. But I have people that they can't afford it, or that's all they want to start with is this, and they're into business, and to go beyond 10 levels, you're going to have to be, a little bit, maybe a month or two before you share with people and going. So it's not an urgent thing, but you get in and you start using this, and all the people that I've had that have just bought this, a couple of weeks later, they call them, John, P90 plus, let's go, shaking, right? And by the way, I have two things I tell people. I want to share that protocol chart because it's fantastic for people to use to the moment. But I tell people two things. I said these products have two side effects. Okay, so when you start using any of these products, in about 2 weeks, your mouth's going to hurt. That's because you won't be able to shut up about it. And people laugh. They always laugh. And then 2 weeks later, they call me up and say, John, my mouth's hurting. I can't stop talking about this.
Want it.
Right? And then the other thing is all the devices, all of them will make you happier. So I tell people, if you don't want your mouth to hurt and you don't want to be any happier than you are right now, do not buy these products. Okay? You cannot get help but not get happier because they're all getting your system working and flowing and moving things into the fight or flight, into the parasympathetic, and activating serotonin going to your brain, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of technical reasons why this works. Bottom line, you put your feet on that thing, you wind yourself a little bit, and you're going to get happier. Your body's going to get happier. Even if your mind's not happier, your body's happier because everything's flowing. Okay. So every time you use those, yes.
Oh, I was going to wait. I thought you were pausing there. Quick question since you did pause. So we know at a corporate level, we've been advised, say, for example, that we're using the P90 Plus. You can wear the goggles at the same time. Obviously, you can use the two attachments that come with the P90 Plus at the same time, whichever one you choose. Goggles, yes, but we've been advised the shaken, they'd prefer that you could do it back to back, but not at the same time. Have you had a chance to look into using the Vitality Wand while your feet are on the P90 Plus? I haven't had a chance to look at literature. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have, and not to put you on the spot, I don't know if you've had a chance to investigate
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of spots to think about that stuff. And by the way, just let me throw this in before I forget. The very first thing I did when I got my Vitality wand was to check if this would energize the water. Because I think this is going to be a problem if this doesn't energize the water like all these other ones did. And boom, tested it, energized the water. It's like, oh, okay, it's all over now. All right. So it does. I've tested myself. I know it energizes and it does taste differently and it's fantastic. Now, to answer your question, I've seen people, I don't want to name names, but I've seen people
Mhm.
using all the products. They got their feet on the Vitality Wand, I mean, on the P90. They got the shaking going. They got the goggles on. They're wand themselves and they're having a good time. Really, uh, by and large, I personally, my experience is that the goggles are pretty much good with everything. Okay.
Yeah, lower frequency. Yeah.
Yeah, P90 goggles good. Shaking goggles, all right. Um, it's in
Seems like
really
it's
in
a lot. Seems like it'd
contraindications.
be a
I,
lot.
I, I really don't recommend, and it's pretty much recommended by other companies that sell these foot devices and OlyLife, that you don't have your feet on there and have something in your hands that's wired into the wall.
There you go. Yeah, and
Okay.
even on the stand though, it's quite a bit
No,
of
stands
energy.
okay.
Yeah,
That's up to you. Now that could be a little intense. I'm from New York, so I like everything going, with that and whatever. I can handle it. Some people can't handle it, but I would not. I don't recommend. But I've seen people do it, but I wouldn't recommend that you have something wired into the wall and your feet wired into something else because there's a potential problem there. I'm not saying it happened, whatever, but that you could just see you wouldn't want to be some circuity issue there, faulty or whatever. But if you really want to use your wand, then stick it in the stand and let it oscillate while you have your feet on there. If you can handle those frequencies, and some people they love it, and some people that's too much. Like I said, me, I like that. I don't put, I still can't get past 7 on the P90 Plus, and
yeah.
I'm
And
thinking, wait a minute, I'm a big tough guy from New York. I should be at 10, 20. No, I started slow and I'm up to 7. I go to 8 and it's too much and I back it off. And I'm thinking, it is what it is. You got to find your comfort level. My wife, she's only on like a 2 or 3 on the P90. These things, and that brings up another point. The chart I'm going to show you is suggested. You might want to use this and wand yourself all over anybody. It's fantastic because it's going to work with activating and stimulating your vagus nerves, lymph areas, drainage, all around your body. That chart, okay. And you only need with this is so powerful. You only need to spend about a minute on hand, one palm, about another minute on this palm, right? Um, if you have an area of your body that is very filled with discomfort, all right, I don't want to say the P word, but if you got some area of your body that's very uncomfortable, you probably want to spend about 10 minutes. That's typically over the years, that's what's always been recommended, at least 10 minutes or so, focusing on an area. You can use it different techniques, whatever you want to do. You can do an energy, you can unblock, you can energy, whatever. But you want to spend a little bit of time on an area for it to release the body to respond, to release, and so forth. And it really does work that way. But if you've got some uncomfortable something and you go, okay, that doesn't work. You got to spend a little time. Even a minute is longer than you might think. You know, I'll be winding my hand. I'm thinking, all right, minutes up. So I'm thinking, oh my God, it's only 20 seconds. And keep going, keep going, keep going. 20, 45 seconds. I'm saying, but you want to give it about that, at least one. Now, you could go 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Overall, these things are set for 45 minutes overall. And that's about what you want to do, 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a session. You can do that a couple of times a day, depending on your situation. Now that we have the hands-free ability with the oscillating stand, it's way easier to use that, something like that. And by the way, the stand is fantastic. This stand, this is a microphone stand from Amazon, right? I highly recommend you might want about $10 on it. It's metal, fairly good weight. This is great on if you put it on a desk or a nightstand or whatever. It actually makes it even a little more versatile than just even the oscillating stand positioning. If I'm at my desk, I use this a lot where I can point this towards my body while I'm working, or maybe my neck or something. the isolating stand too, but this is something to consider as another accessory available on Amazon, microphone stand. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
Excellent.
I've
So,
got
so
about 12 old ones, if anybody wants to buy one real cheap.
no promoting other stuff, John.
I have every week, I have people call me up and say, hey, my old one just broke. How do I get another one? I said, no, you don't want here. Let's look at the comparisons of these things.
Yeah.
And then it's go, oh, wow, I'm really glad I called you up.
So,
Okay. Yep.
So John, respectful of time. So we got like 10 minutes left, and you have, we've already discussed earlier, there's a lot, this could be three, four parts. You mentioned a chart that would be to complement what you've shared because you've shared a lot with us about how we can use it. Someone even asked to confirm how far we need to be keeping it from our body. There's different settings. You talked
Yeah.
about the penetration level. But what are your thoughts for the next few minutes? I'm trying to throw in questions as I read them, but how would you like to use the last few minutes? You want to show the chart, or what would be good for today, understanding we're going to have a chance to
Well,
continue.
somehow or other, everybody needs to get this chart, right? And you don't have to use this chart, but I'm saying if you, I've used this type of chart for 4 years, and um, it really gives you a good coverage of your whole body. If you only had a short, quick, maybe you'd only have about 5 minutes before you're going to go out, whatever, right? At the very least, wind your hands, your palms for about a minute, and the soles of your feet for about a minute. And you're covering all your acupuncture points there really quickly. Um, but I guess we could address a few questions. But you do want to get this chart, and I guess if we don't show that here, how I could tell them where that website is, or we could
You want me to
post this
share the chart
somewhere.
real quick? You want me to share?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, let's share the chart there. Bear with me one moment. Confirm that you can see the chart here. Okay.
Not yet. There you go.
Okay. So John, to talk about this, let's, a couple minutes here. Again, this is a recommendation from your years of experience that folks can do. And we're giving a
Yeah,
lot of information that is not we're not sharing this as we're trying to position this one. This is for our personal benefits.
yeah, yeah. This is a suggestion, not even. It's just a
Yeah.
suggestion from people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people of experiences and mine and whatever. This is a good overall basic. Uh, could be daily. There's lots of other things that can be done with chakras and meridians and unblocking things, whatever. That's a whole nother call talking about that. It's wonderful. But this is a real good basic thing. One key here is number 8 is if you have high blood pressure, you don't want to be wanding with heat around the top of your head. Okay. So you'd want to avoid that one. And uh, if you only can drink one glass of water, all of this is best results have been shown for 2 glasses. Again, you're hydrating because this is creating internal heat, which is great, but that dehydrates you. And you want to help assist your body to eliminate detox stuff out of your body, which all of this stuff is going to be doing. And thirdly, you want to get more energy flowing through your body. So you want more water hydration in your body, picking up all this energy, all that sunshine, and flowing it through all your body. And just that one image alone can transform your use of this stuff. If you're thinking about the sunshine flowing through your body, what it's doing, that will level level up your whole experience, just psychologically, mentally, mindset, intention, knowing you're shining sunshine, real sunshine terahertz into your body. Just knowing that and feeling that. Even the blue light has an effect because you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, the terahertz is flowing to my body right there. Just thinking that
Mhm.
assists it, right? So just don't stare into it and use it. All right. Um, this is a Ferrari, and it's a gift for OlyLife to the world for what it is. They could easily have charged $3, 4, $5,000 for this and
Yeah.
be extremely competitive. And this is really a gift to the world to have this. If you don't have one yet, be thinking about it, because adding it to your group, because it adds, it's so complementary with everything else. And it does target areas. So if you have some area discomfort, or you want to work on some, whatever it is, you can target that area. But you want to do a complete coverage as much as possible, because very often the thing that you're uncomfortable with is only a symptom of something else.
Mhm.
And every day I see my wife work with patients all around the world, and it's amazing to me how they have this pain, this issue, this whatever, but it's caused by their bladder. It's caused by something in their liver. It's caused by something else, maybe even environmentally, whatever. So you want to get as good a coverage of your whole body with these energies to help unblock and what they call drain your meridians and all that stuff. So just putting your feet on P90 Plus. I'm just saying, 6 months ago, I thought everybody's going to need this. I realized how amazing the P90 Plus is. And then my wife forced me to get a shake, and she goes, "Oh, you get one of those shakings." Now I love that thing, right? And my goggles, and I just ordered the Obama. You know, I heard Dr.
Very
Lauren talk
good.
about that. I
That's
thought, oh
right.
God, I got to order that. And I thought I didn't need. I had $20,000 of foot device. I thought I don't need a P90. And then I kept hearing everybody's testimonies and the science. And I thought, oh, this is totally different. And I told you, I've taken those apart, the insides of the other competitors and the P90 Plus, and I showed the insides to ChatGPT. And I said, tell me about the technologies. And ChatGPT is like laughing, going, that other device is like almost like a joke, and sells, So all of a sudden you realize that $1,500 is like a steal for what the price is, what it does, and let alone the claw. I don't have time to talk about this thing. This is the cat's pajamas right there, the
All right.
claw. All right.
Well, let's
Any
say
other
that.
quick
Let's
questions?
say that. Yeah. So there is. So Michelle has a question. We'll give you a chance to unmute there, John.
Okay.
Michelle, John, there was a question about. Would you just confirm one more time, distance wise? I know that the manual's going to say, I think 6 to 8 inches. You want to space that, and I would imagine that that's a heat component.
The heat
But
thing.
what about how far away can you be? Right? Was that your 24 inches? Was that your?
No, that's the company. It says 20, keep it
Yeah.
about 20 centimeters away, which is about 10 inches.
Right.
That's a heat thing, really.
Yeah. All heat.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So everybody has different heat comforts, and some people don't want heat at all, or this and that.
Yeah. Well, I love
Um,
zero setting for the no heat, which I love that.
it's
Uh,
fantastic.
okay.
And you're getting the full terahertz and the PMF effect from that. And,
Okay.
and and by the way, oh, quick thing, this produces PMF terahertz differently than all the other ones. Okay, all the other ones in the market, all these things, they use a tube and they run far infrared into this tube and crystal tube and interact or whatever. This doesn't use a crystal tube. This has a graphene process, which AI will talk about is the most advanced way to create terahertz. Okay, so this is just another reason why this is like number one device that makes everything else obsolete, and it's more efficient, more directed, the terahertz, but it's produced by a graphene process that you can kind of look at. So it's not your grandpa's terahertz machine anymore. This is the cutting edge machine. That's why it's a Ferrari. I mean, because it's like fantastic what it does, and the quality of it. This is not like a cheap little knockoff. This is like amazing for what it does. But it has a graphene process that creates the terahertz, and the PMF is different in the way it does. And
Right.
I have my understanding how it does that, but I'm still working with OlyLife to confirm that. But it's not the same kind of PMF. This is a low frequency PMF that puts out differently than the P90, P90 Plus.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. John, we have a couple of questions. There's that we'll answer from Michelle and Johnny, and we'll pause there. There are some questions about. I think there's a lot of interest. Obviously, you started to share the multiple ways we can use this, and from your experience, some protocols. Right? We're not offering medical advice, things
Mm,
like that. We've
mm.
that's a disclaimer for every one of these calls. But
Oh, I'm
but
glad you
there's
brought this up. I'm
there's
glad you brought this
experience that
up.
you have. Yeah.
Well, the other day, one of my distributors, she asked me, could I use this as a hair dryer? It's, oh my gosh. My wife has dried her hair with her wand for 4.5 years every day.
Mm.
Okay. She swears by it. No EMF coming out. You know how much EMF these hair dryers put out, how dangerous that is? It dries your hair, okay, but it's also making you happier and putting PMF and terahertz in your scalp and your skin and your brain. And it's like, all right, I, I don't want to say I wish I was a woman, but I'm just telling you, it feels good, all right, doing that. Now I do run the cloth through my hair, fantastic, there. But this is fantastic as a hair dryer, okay, and uh, but you're doing, and you can close your eyes and then do your eyes. If you have some kind of anything concerns in your eyes, then use it in a cool setting. Don't run heat in that area. Fantastic for dental stuff, either an issue or preventative. Everybody brushed their teeth. Have you brushed your teeth with your Vitality One? No. Okay. This should be a part of your protocol because this is putting these energies into your mouth and disinfecting stuff and working with your mouth and jaws and gums. I mean, hello, good product, right?
Love it.
Yeah. So there again, this is not a medical device. I can't give medical advice, but there
But we're
are.
sharing your experience and how you've seen it help others. That's what we're doing. Hey, Michelle, can you unmute? Let's get to a couple questions here, and then we'll be respectful and keep it to a little bit more than an hour. Michelle, are you able to unmute?
Hey, I had a pencil on the phone, was listening to the call, and she asked, what is the charge? Is it alkaline based? I didn't know how to answer that question.
Michelle, we're not, it's muffled. We're not able to understand what you're saying. Would you try one more time?
Oh, let me take you off my hearing aid, I'm sorry. Hi, can you hear me now?
That's better.
Okay, you was on my hearing aid. I apologize. Um, I was asked a question from a potential that was on the call. She said that he said something about the charge. What is the charge? Is it alkaline based? He said
Well,
charge in the water. What's the charge that it gives? And is it
Well,
alkaline based?
yeah, it's in the interestingly
Sorry,
enough,
John.
no, it's in that range of the Schumann frequencies, okay, of energizing the water, which is totally in line with the frequencies coming out of the wand
so,
itself,
so
the
slightly, on the
this,
scale, slightly alkaline, above
yeah, but
7.0.
yeah, that, right, right. But I wouldn't necessarily promote that as, creating alkaline water
That's
for
not
you.
what we're
The
trying to
new
do.
water
Yeah.
machine will help with that kind of stuff. This is more an energy thing in terms of uh,
Well, and John, maybe for next time, maybe we could get into a little bit more of that because that's a great question. And obviously, you and I had a chat earlier about the
yeah,
differences between the water machine getting ready to come out by OlyLife and what this does, and there's differences. So maybe we can hold on that a little bit
yeah,
longer if we
yep,
could. Okay,
yep.
Johnny, last question here, and then we'll call it a day.
Morning, Doug. Morning,
Hey,
John.
hey.
How's it going? Just quickly for John, I found that I did a water fast and I was able to get up to 11 and hold it a bit longer while I'd done that water fast.
Mm,
And I did notice when I started eating oily stuff and other things like that after my water fast, I couldn't sustain that
mm.
11 as long without feeling uncomfortable or whatever we may say.
Okay, John.
So yeah, so the water fast I think helped a bunch, just getting other greeblies that are in there. So when you're detoxing, it's not as uncomfortable. My two questions, I think. One was, I think, through clothes, because some it might be someone that doesn't want to take clothes off,
Mhm.
and is the wand still effective, or at least doing something? And
Yes.
the other one was, if it's soup, it might be in a steel pot, not a glass or ceramic. So is that okay as well?
Not a steel pot from the side, but you could do it from the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you wand your beverage, soup or coffee from the top, be very careful of splashing.
Yeah.
I noticed from my own personal experience. First time I tried that, I had a cup of coffee, went there.
Beautiful.
Like coffee everywhere. I said, okay, I guess I need to hold this up a little higher.
Yeah.
But it'll go through metal, not metal, but it'll go through ceramic, whatever. But ideally, you want to go through glass, not plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic
No.
could interfere with
Yeah. Creating more
vibrations
problems.
and what goes in there. Yeah, but glass, and a lot of people do it from the top, but I prefer through the side. It's safer, and you're not pushing any dust or stuff floating around the air into your water.
Yeah.
You want to do it from the side, so that's great. But I hadn't really thought about that. Yeah, if you're doing any kind of fasting or water fasting, especially, well, you would really want to supplement that with energizing that water. That's great.
Well, John, and Johnny, thank you for that question there. I think this is a great place to pause for the first of a few sessions there. Johnny, you've covered quite a bit, right? And I think the community is thirsty and hungry for not just tactics to go speak with practitioners and or um, educate different utilizations, but for ourselves, right? There's a lot of the products that we have don't have protocols, and we're depending on different member experiences. But to have these guidelines and your experience, as you stated before, Dr. Misty, your wife is the two of you have 40 years in this world, in the last several years working with another company that you stated this blows away. So we are now all armed with more information that we can leverage for our own personal well-beings, and then create our own stories and have those stories to share with anyone. And so I thank you for that. And like you said, I hope OlyLife has their inventory of Vitality wands ready to go, because at $600 or 660 USD shipped, quite the deal, quite the bargain. Any closing remarks, John, before we wrap things up? I do want to thank you again for that. This, Friday, we heard a little bit of it, and it's like, oh my, we have to get you on a call. And look what we
Uh,
started here.
you go around and start talking Terrace Gap, and all your upline go, "What is he talking about?"
Yeah, and we're trying to, at the end of the day, you and I talk too. This is a lot of information for ourselves to use. This was not intended for you to go out and now talk the talk with
Right,
practitioners or your friends and family. This is
right.
good information so that bite-sized chunks you can take away, and even if it's now you can say, hey, you could use it for your water too, or the dental, whatever it might be. We're walking away with more nuggets of knowledge than we had when we
Hey,
came
I'm a
in.
distributor too. I'm an M2 now, but I'm shooting for M4, M5, M6, whatever. And I have to really be careful because I scare people away. I wouldn't talk about all this stuff to a new person for me.
Right.
I would say, put your feet on this thing. Hey, come here, watch a video, and sign up. It's like you gotta be careful because people are thinking, can I do what he does? And say and whatever. So I'm glad to share all this with people. I'm happy to do that. I love all your responses and your interest. We are all part of a mission here to bring this stuff out to the world. And we are not a Me Too company. We are the leading
Yeah.
company in the world with this stuff. And I'm really, I come from 30, 40 years of sales background, management training. I've written 6 books, and all that stuff. And from a sales standpoint, I love being like this, where I have the only thing in the world that everybody needs, right? And you can't get this anywhere else. And I got the best prices, the best product. I love being in that position. That's where we are. And I do comparisons for my downline, on all these different products, and when you look at it, you go, and it's a no-brainer. OlyLife is the one. So
That's good. All right. Well, John, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who dialed in, and we will be sure to get you back on the calendar again here in the near future.
thank you. Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Take care. Have a good evening, everyone.
Okay.